Did you just stub or sprain your big toe? Is it broken? How do you know? We're going to show you proven tips as much as you can at home to get that big toe feeling better, or those little toes. We'll tell you exactly how to find out if you need to go see a doctor or what you can do at home to treat it as fast as possible. So let's get going with this toe. Boop. So you stubbed or broke your toe. This is what the bones look like. Each of the smaller toes have 3 bones and the big toe has 2 bones. And then you have your metatarsal phalangeal joints. Sometimes there's a gray line in between, but we're going to give you tips. If you have an open wound, if you have a bone sticking out, that's a clear sign. You have to go see your podiatrist or doctor immediately and get that evaluated. The downside is you could get a bone infection and potentially lose your toe. We've seen this happen. It's terrible. The older the person is, the more risk you have, and the more health conditions, the more risk you have. Number 2 is if your toe starts turning white, is so black and blue that it is you lose feeling, or it's critical 10 out of 10 pain. That could be compartment syndrome, which leads to blood pooling up, leading to ischemia or a nerve or arterial injury. It is possible. It's unlikely, but it is possible. That's an emergency. So that's when the nerves and the arteries actually get so damaged that they can't supply flow to the tip of the toe. How swollen or how painful is it? If you can't bend the big toe joint, so if you're looking at this and you can't bend it, or if you can't bend the little toes and it looks stuck or there's grinding or creaking, that means potentially you cracked the inside of the joint. If unaddressed, this could lead to permanent arthritis, which is how people start getting stuff like hallux rigidus. And here's our guide towards hallux rigidus, if you want to follow that. But hallux rigidus is arthritis and bone buildup inside your joint, kind of like bone on bone knee arthritis. So you don't want that to happen. So the next thing is, how much swelling is there? If there's not much swelling, if there's not much shifting, it's probably more likely to just be a stubbed toe. And you have so many receptors. Pain is not always the best answer. You have, as you can see here, I lost the Achilles tendon. You can see there's so many nerves here, and at the bottom of your toes, there's so many nerve endings that your pain is extreme, even with a stubbing. When you stub or jam your big toe, what happens is 2 to 3 times your body weight can be absorbed into a small, tiny little toe. What's dangerous about that is there's 2 nerves that work. There's fast acting. So these are your reflex, your A delta nerves that reach your brain, and that gives you the sudden jolt. And then you have the slower acting, deep, dull, aching nerves. These are your unmyelinated, your C fibers. They're slower. They start reaching your brain later. So first you get that fast jolt. That's that feeling, oh boy, I did something bad. Then that slow, dull ache. That's why massaging and disrupting in other areas can stop your brain from focusing on that. It doesn't always mean it's broken, but the only way to tell for sure is to get an x-ray. Go see your podiatrist, get an x-ray. Even, in the ER, it's expensive as can be, but going to see your podiatrist, it's like under $30 for an x-ray. It's nothing crazy. Get evaluated for the x-ray and know 100%, even if you're on the fence, be safe. Obviously there's a disclaimer as well, but make sure it's not a broken toe. If it is a broken toe, follow our complete toe break guide and when you should see a doctor. But specifically, you want to get a surgical shoe or a big, stable, thick shoe where your toe can't bend. I'm a big fan, especially in athletes, getting back early and getting moving. A stable carbon fiber or metal insert where the toes can't bend. I'm a huge fan of that. Are they the cheapest? They're not the cheapest, but they do a great job. Same thing, inserts. I've had people that are physical laborers get back to work almost immediately with minimal pain and do great by modifying the inserts and taking pressure off of it. Cast boots and surgical shoes are a great option. They're not the most practical. You're probably going to be off work, at least in America, from a legal standpoint. Your employer does not want to take the legal burden of having somebody with a broken foot working. That's for most people. Take that with a grain of salt. It's not everybody, but it does happen to people. The next thing is you want to control that pain. If you're in a tremendous amount of pain, you can't sleep, take some anti-inflammatories. They can definitely help. They can get you feeling better. The next thing is ice, elevate, compress as much as possible. Same thing that's a debatable thing. Basically, the more you do that stuff, it's going to hurt a little bit less, but it takes longer to get better. If you don't do that stuff, it's going to hurt more at the beginning, but it can take, but it will get better a little bit quicker. How much? It's still debated. Who cares? It's not really worth arguing about. Although I know in the show notes, bring it on. Everybody loves to argue about, rice. Everybody loves to talk about it. So bring it on. But here's some great products that are very helpful for a lot of people in getting your big toe joint and broken toe or stubbed toe pain better as quick as possible. Check the show notes below. So the first thing you want to look at is a walking boot. This can help broken toe, a heel stress fracture. If you're having a ton of pain, simply cooling things down is a great idea after you see your podiatrist, of course, and get the okay. But wearing this for at least a couple weeks can really cool things. And you can see great reviews, 1,200 here. This is going to be linked in the show notes. They're not terribly expensive. Don't let medical prices scare you. These can be cheaper online a lot of the time. A lot of times, even in the boot or in a shoe, you want to get a good cushioned insert. So you can get softer ones. These are a great favorite of mine. These are podiatrist approved right here. They fit mostly in tennis shoes, not in every shoe, not in a pair of flats. You want to wear a good supportive shoe. So look at that, 4.4 out of 5, 1,500 ratings. That's a great insert. Another product I really like is the carbon fiber insole. So looking at this right here, it's a hard insole. They have a lot of different sizes. Great rating, 4 out of 5 with 65 ratings. I promise you that's the best you're going to get. It's not the cheapest, but look at what it does. Basically, it keeps your big toe joint from bending. Regular insert is flexible at the big toe joint, so when you walk, it doesn't jam on the big toe joint. So basically the whole point is it provides some resistance. You put that under the insole already in your shoe, and it keeps a ton of pressure off there, and you combine that with a really good shoe. So next, if you need some icing, regular ice will do, but there's some fancy stuff out there. You can fill it up with water, it can compress, it can get a lot of pressure off. So if you need help getting this off and you're a gadget person, 4.6 out of 5. That's a great deal right there. And right there, Hoka's, that's a great maximalist shoe. Maximalist shoes have a lot of protection at the bottom, as you can see here. That's a lot of cushion. That combined plus an insert, it's almost too much support, but great ratings, 4.6 out of 5. I love maximalist shoes, especially for people that are having stress fractures, issues, and injuries. This isn't the time for a shoe debate. This is the time to protect your foot. So something like this can be almost as supportive as something like this in some cases. This holds the ankle more, but the Hoka actually does cushion the foot more, especially with an insert. So if that helped you, and these are some great products, click on some more links to some other guides, but give us a like. We're working our butt off to help you. So give us a subscribe, give us a like.